now got the mechanism and the ways and means to do that. Profits are better than wages. And it doesn't take much to start an enterprise that makes a profit. I teach kids how to have two bicycles, one to ride and one to rent. How long does it take to make a profit? I mean, a little ingenuity and you're on your way. So profits are better than wages. Once I understood this, it was so incredible. Profits are better than wages. Now, when I first was recruited, I'm a distributor for this little product called Abunda Vita. And here's what my mentor said, Mr. Shelf. He said, Mr. Owen, you can start this miracle working business part-time. You don't have to go full-time, you can start part-time. And he said, if you'll devote, to start with, let's say 10, 12, 15 hours a week, where you'll start making a profit, here's what you can now say. I'm working full-time on my job and part-time on my fortune. Part-time on my fortune. Because profits lead to fortune. I got so excited about that philosophy. I'm working full-time on my job, but now I'm working part-time on my fortune. I found a way not only to make a living, you won't believe this, I found a way to make a fortune. Can you imagine what that's like then to get up in the morning? To go to work on your fortune? Not to go to work to pay the rent, which is okay, but a chance to go to work to make a fortune? And I said, right now I'm working part-time on my fortune and full-time on my job, but it won't be long until I'll be working full-time on my fortune. Can you imagine what life is gonna be like? Full-time on my fortune. Can you imagine what life is gonna be like? Working full-time on my fortune. Wages make you a living, which is fine. Profits make you a fortune, which is super fine. Can you imagine?
And then you have all the people at the bottom who don't make as much. And I said, well, that doesn't sound like a pyramid. That sounds like a job to me. It sounds like what we've been taught: go to school, get a degree, and get a job. But people, let me ask you a question. Let's be honest. Stop me when I'm not making any sense. Um, Name me somebody you know who works a 9 to 5 and is wealthy. I didn't say get by, paycheck to paycheck. I said wealthy. So people, I think that we're on to something here. I'm not trying to share this information so that you can build a business, but I'm just showing you information about what I do. So when I looked at this thing, I looked at network marketing as a business. As I said, I got involved with a company called Melaleuca, and back in 2002, and I remember making good money with that company. Even though people said it wouldn't work, I always tell people within those 8 or 9 years, we made close to $3.2 million with that company. And I'm not bragging about the money that I made. I'm bragging about the time that I spent with my family and the things that we did. People, I want you guys to do something. If you're writing this down, write this down. Network marketing is nothing more than business. And a lot of us don't understand that because we were never taught business. Business is very simple. Find a problem, create the solution to that problem. And the problems that we face in today is that most of us are working harder today just to get by. Nearly half of Americans today could not cover a $400 hiccup, meaning that if a washer and dryer goes out or a tire blows, you would have to either put that on a credit card or what? You would have to borrow the money. Well, people, there are other signs that we look at every single day. Food and drink costs going up, heating bills going up, groceries going up, tuition is crazy today. People, it's not the fact that these things are going up, it's the fact that the dollar is going down. I hope you would agree with that. Since 1913, when the dollar was created, it has always gone down. Since 1971, when Nixon took the dollar off what we call the Bretton Woods Agreement, which was the dollar was no longer backed by gold. It became a fiat currency. And with that fiat currency, people, I'm just going to simply tell you, the fiat currency just simply means the government's way of saying it is until they tell you that it's not. You know, growing up, my father used to always tell me some great information. And he said, you always need to save for retirement. And my father was half right because he never told me that I need to save outside of fiat currency. People, you don't save paper money. Paper money is not meant for you to save. Paper money is meant for you to spend. Think about this. In the last 6 or 7 years, we printed more money than in the history of the dollar. Through COVID, people, they started giving us what we would call what kind of was one of those checks, right? And those checks were not meant for you guys to save. Those checks were meant for you to spend. So when you looked at this thing, it made a whole lot of sense. But as we're worrying about this paper fiat currency, something was happening. Gold and silver continued to go up. So when I looked at this thing, I said the dollar is probably only worth today about 3 cents. The dollar will go to zero. We're not the only country that ever had this happen. We had Argentina, Germany, Zimbabwe. All these countries have gone to zero, meaning that their dollar went bankrupt. People, when you look at what's happening today, those checks that were printed, people, all they do is keep printing checks. It's almost like you have a good glass of tea and you keep adding water to that tea, it dilutes it. So what's the answer today? The answer today is sound money. And sound money is nothing more than a fancy word for gold and silver. So when I first took a look at this business, I didn't own any gold and silver, but the facts stood true. See, most of us have been taught to take your money and put it into a savings account. And you put that money into a savings account and you're only getting paid 0.001% off of that. If you look at this chart here, if you had $1,000, you put $1,000 into gold and $1,000 in silver. In 2025, in 2020, today, people, you would have made $900 in gold and you'd have probably made double that in silver. The problem of it is when you looked at what we had is most of us, again, as we talked about, don't have enough money. People, you don't buy gold and silver, you transfer. So just go this route. If you would have took one silver dollar, and it's so funny how many people don't understand the fact that a silver dollar is silver. I have a lot of people, I have a lot of people today who don't understand the value of silver. Silver is silver. So if you took that $1 back in 1965, it was equal to each other. So if you took one Silver Eagle coin back in 1965, if you had 2,500 ounces of silver, and $2,500 in cash, you could have bought a brand new Ford Mustang. Fast forward to today, that same 2,500 ounces of silver, you could have bought two Ford Mustangs, equaling about $80,000. Well, let's fast forward to gold. In gold, people, if you took 1965, that same gold, 72 ounces of gold, that's it. That would have been equal to about $2,500 in cash. You could have bought that same what? Ford Mustang. Today, 2025, that 72 ounces of gold, people, we could have bought 5 Mustangs. And you could have bought 3 homes doing the same thing. If you would have bought 1 ounce of gold in 2024, Christmas time, and then a whole year later, people, you would have paid $1,600 to $1,700 for that ounce of gold. A year later, you could have sold it for double to what you paid for. So now, that's the problem. Let's figure out the solution. So I hear people tell me all the time, people who don't understand, and people, you got to realize there are a lot of people who haven't been taught this. Sound money. Most people, when I first heard this information, I went to my friends who are doctors and lawyers and dentists and asked them the question, do you own any gold and silver? And they said, no, but I would love to. But the reason why they don't is because they don't know who to trust, where to buy it. They don't understand the risk that they have to take. And many of the times, people, in order for you to buy gold and silver, you have to come up with $15,000 to $20,000 just to play the game. Well, people, bullion is what we call the defense. The defense of this whole thing is bullion, silver rounds, and bars, right? That's the defense. That's what will protect your money. Well, people, we did one better, and that's what we call our Sound Money Wallet. Our Sound Money Wallet is something great. Our Sound Money Wallet, I petitioned the company many years ago and say, hey, we need to stop calling this thing a Sound Money Wallet and call it a game changer, because that's exactly what it is. See, people, you can buy fractional gold and silver. I know some companies out here with just for 1 gram, just 1 gram of gold, they will charge you $230 for that gram of gold. Well, people, there's only 21 grams of gold in an ounce. So you just paid almost $5,000 for an ounce of gold. Well, we don't do that. You can buy fractional gold and silver. And if I choose to, I can send Miss Yvette $5,000 in gold. She can send me back $5,000 in silver. I can send her $500, no fees, and she can send me back $500. See, people, this is why we call it a game changer. Because when we get paid through our Sound Money wallet. So that means this, you cannot tax gold and silver. So the only time I get taxed is if I take that money out, I send it to my debit card, or I send it to my bank account to pay my bills. Other than that, I keep it in there. Because you got to understand, silver and gold, 11 to 15% interest compared to the 0.001 that you're going to get out your savings account. Take a listen to this and tell me if this doesn't make sense.
If you're watching this video, chances are you're curious about gold and silver. You might have a few questions, like why should I buy precious metals? What metals should I be buying? Who can I trust to buy them from? How do I know I'm getting a good deal? And how can I afford more? You should know that you're not alone. Most people have these questions, and over the next few minutes, we'll introduce you to an easy solution. Most people we talk to say they have a feeling that it's a good idea to own precious metals, but really don't understand why, or how to get started. Or they don't feel like they have the budget for it, so they don't do anything about it. This lack of understanding costs them a lot of money. And quite honestly, we don't want you to make the same mistakes. We've watched far too many people struggle as the economy fluctuates, employment issues arise, or unexpected changes come up in life. Owning gold and silver can help shield you against all these challenges long term. When we started 7K, we established a mission to help the average person get ahead by adding precious metals to their portfolio, no matter their knowledge or circumstances. We've already changed the precious metals industry by making it extremely easy to get started without any maximums or any minimums, period. But that's not enough. We're now completely revolutionizing the industry and making it so anyone and everyone can seamlessly start buying precious metals. It doesn't matter if you want to start with $100 or even $1. The new technology provided by our partner company Sound Money Wallet will allow you to convert your cash to various asset classes of fractional gold or silver quickly with no games or gimmicks. With Sound Money, you own the metals you buy, but they store them safe and sound. They offer limited capacity storage for up to $50,000 in asset value. And you'll sleep easy at night knowing that if you ever want your metals, they'll be in the mail at the drop of a hat. How? Sound Money uses a non-segregated vault at their partner company, VaultMax, to store your precious metal assets, protected by some of the most technologically advanced security out there. You can be sure your metals are safe there. If you want your metal, simply request.
Is that my screen? Is it freezing up, you guys? Can you see that video?
It's freezing.
Pay the shipping and insurance and it will be on the way. But what if you need cash?
It's stopping and going.
The old way of liquidating precious metals, including lugging a heavy box to a local dealer, hearing excuses for why they couldn't possibly match the current market value of your metals, and probably ending up in a no-win situation, or contacting an online buyer with a typical $1,000 minimum, only to find that the price they initially quoted you for your metal dropped significantly once they received your heavily taxed package 4 to 6 weeks later. With Sound Money, you can kiss all that headache goodbye. This is the only tool on the market with the power to give you frictionless liquidation with one of the best buyback prices in the industry. So whether you're a savvy investor who already knows the power of gold and silver and the advantage of a private vault, or you're trading your first dollar for precious metals, Sound Money will make your ownership journey convenient and easy. Be confident that control is back in your hands from start to finish. Let Sound Money Wallet work for you.
Was that freezing up the whole time?
No, not the whole time.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry if it did, but I think you guys got the point of what our Sound Money Wallet is. Again, it was a game changer. I truly loved it for the simple fact that, you have people we want to set a precedence. We want people to start buying gold and silver to protect themselves. That was a way to do it. Our Sound Money Wallet. I know people have taken $50,000, $60,000 and put it into a Sound Money Wallet, and they've already, in a year and a half's time, doubled their money. I felt so secure doing it because I told my mother, I said, why do you keep putting your money in a savings account? Well, she told me very clearly that's what she knew what to do. And she put her money in it. She said, now, what if something happens? How can I get my money back? It was going to take me months to liquidate it. No, all you got to do is push a button. People, you can transfer $1,000 to your debit card or your bank account with a click of a button. That was huge. Now, that's the defense. The thing that I want to talk about now is the offense. The offense is what we call numismatic coins, coins that have been graded. I had a great conversation with a guy the other day, and he told me, he says, Ron, I own silver. That's great. But let's diversify your portfolio. Let's talk a little bit about numismatic coins and what they are. These are coins that have been graded by numismatists. What we talk about is they've been graded on what we call a Sheldon scale. See, this is why I love this company, because when we talk about the product is not easily duplicated, you can't duplicate our products. And the reason why is because we partner with the #1 and #2 graders in the world that grade these coins. So we don't sell anything other than 69s and 70s. And a 70 coin, people, is a coin that has never been touched with a human hand. And again, it's perfect condition. A 1 is probably a coin that's been ran over the parking lot 100 times, right? So people, when you look at this, you just kind of simplify it and say, take this amazing Spider-Man comic book. Back in 1962, you bought that comic book for 12 cents. You put that in the case. You make sure that there's no blemishes or dings or tears in that pages. People, guess what? That comic book can be sold for what it sold for, $3.6 million. Now think about it. There are baseball cards that do the same thing. But when you looked at our company, it made a whole lot of sense. When I heard about the $1.2 million mistake, people, understand this. Investing is not bad. Now, what you invest in could be bad. We're not talking about ETFs or anything. We're talking about physical gold and silver. See, when I heard this, it made a lot of sense to me, because I wish my father, my grandfather, would have understood about that $1.2 million mistake. Now ask yourself the question after listening to this video. Why would you do the same thing for your children, your loved ones? Pay attention.
You probably made a $1.2 million mistake and didn't even know it. Consistently purchased gold and silver bullion over the years, you would have negated inflation and maintained an average buying power. But what would have happened if you'd have bought collectible gold and silver? It begins with the MS70 Silver Eagle. MS stands for Mint State. It's a grading system. An MS70 coin means the coin is in perfect condition. If you'd purchased one MS70 Silver Eagle every month since 1986, you'd be sitting on a $1.2 million portfolio, and it would have only cost you between $50,000 and $80,000. That's why we call it the $1.2 million mistake, because most people didn't buy them. What's crazy is that's what the coin the US Mint makes millions of every year. What would have happened if you focused on even more exclusive, unique, and rare modern coins? Here are a few examples of the track record for a few more unique and exclusive coins that we've offered through the years. A 2004 Tiffany art coin sold originally for around $100 with shipping and is selling in the market today for between $5,000 and $10,000. If you didn't get one, that's at least a $4,910 mistake. The Julius Caesar 7K exclusive from 2021 sold for around $360 with shipping and is selling for between $950 and $1,100 today. If you missed it, that's another $550 mistake. And here's the Montana Butterfly from the 7K Autosaver program that sold for $150 with shipping. Today, it would cost you around $1,200 to get one. That's another $1,000 or so mistake. Now sure, those are great performers, but that's a portfolio of around $10,000 with only a few coins and a fraction of the cost. With time, the power and potential of collectibles are real, and we're on a mission to help you avoid the potentially $1.2 million mistake of not adding them to your legacy.
All right, people, I'm truly not trying to brag about this thing here, but I don't know if you guys can see this coin. Can you guys see this? Yes, no? This
Yes.
is this is a coin that was sold through our what we call our autosaver. And then don't text me and ask me. I'm here to answer. This coin was sold in our autosaver for $139. You guys see how much that coin is worth today? Y'all pretty quiet over there.
1,900.
$13,900. Now, that coin, my good friend Sherry Pickett showed me that. And I said, whatever. I started looking around and I looked in a box of the coins that I have, and guess what I found?
One of those coins.
Right? So that coin, I don't know if you guys remember this coin. That was that Montana butterfly. This was that Tiffany art coin. This was that every coin that they have, people, they showed you that went up in value. I have that coin. Again, I'm not bragging about it. When I first got into this business, I didn't own any gold and silver. But what happened is now I said, instead of me taking money and put it in my bank account, I put it into gold and silver. Because what I've seen over my lifetime is things that change. I've seen the pandemic. I've seen my buddies who worked at Chrysler, Ford, and GM who had a great life. But the minute them plants shut down, they were starving. Some of them, unfortunately, didn't make it. And the minute that happened, their family did what? GoFundMe. See, people, I created my own GoFundMe. So in this business, if you hit a certain rank within 90 days, we'll talk about it. They'll give you a 100-ounce silver bar for free. That was the first thing I said I'm going to get. I got 3 of them. Those bars equal up to about close to $4,000. That's $12,000 just in those silver bars. We're not talking about all the other collectibles that I have. So people, when you look at what my collection was, that's what I keep saying. This is a savings account for me to help leave a generational wealth for my family. So in this business, it made a whole lot of sense. We wanted to put gold and silver in the hands of the people who need it the most. I know people who have gotten some serious issues. And they call me up and they say, Ron, you know what? I can't do 7K metals anymore. I said, why not? They said, I had this happen and this happened and this happened. And I asked the question, what happened to the gold and silver that you've been buying over the last couple of years? Oh, I still have it. I said, make a phone call to 7K metals. $7,000 they gave this one young lady to help her pay her bill. They didn't give it to her. She already owned it. So people, when you look at our business, we're telling you something that's great. So with our basic membership, and I'm going to jump right into this, our basic membership, you're going to get that Sound Money wallet. You're going to get all the bells and whistles, the things that we talk about, our stack and sell. And our stack and sell, people, is a way that people can actually look and find out. We just saw how much that coin was worth. I want you guys to take a listen to this and tell me what you think. Oop, nope, maybe not this one. Maybe I didn't put that on there. But let's talk about Instant Gold Pay. But then we'll go back to talking about our stack and sell. Stack and sell is a way that you can scan your coins into a system. And it'll tell you what it's worth. If you want to sell it, you can say, I can sell it. If you want to sell it and somebody wants to buy it, all you have to do is put it on Stack and Sell. They'll make you an offer. If you accept the offer, you send the coin to Stack and Sell. They send the money to Stack and Sell, and they switch hands. That's just how simple it is. But let's talk about this Instant Gold Pay. This is something that really set apart, because I have people come to me, and again, our money is gold and silver. So when you get into the business, our company said, every time you sponsor somebody, instantly we will send you gold. I want to talk about my good friend Sherry Pickett. And when she got into business, she went to work sharing this information with her friends and family. And I laugh all the time because people always tell me, hey, Ryan, I'm busy doing this and this. And I said to her when I first met her, I said, when are you going to have time to do this? She said, I'm going to find time. Me and my husband, we will find time. So Sherry started putting people into business, and she called me up one day, and she was talking about the fact of how much her instant gold has gone up, because when gold goes up, her gold went up in her Instant Gold Pay. But people, we're not talking every week, every time she sponsors somebody in the business, she was getting $40 in Gold Pay. But right now, I want you guys to listen to this. Right now, you can double that. You can get $80 in Gold Pay every time you sponsor somebody in the business. Now, how simple is it? All you do is get them on a video. And again, that's simple. I want you guys to take a listen to this.
What is Instant Gold Pay? It's the brand new 7K customer acquisition program that pays you directly in gold. Whenever you refer a new customer membership to 7K, we will instantly pay you either 20, 40, sent to VaultMax and instantly shown on your Sound Money dashboard. We'll say that again. Instant. Gold. The minute your new customer referral finalizes their purchase, Gold is sent directly to VaultMax on your, well, you do have to have your Sound Money and VaultMax accounts properly set up first. But once that's done, there's nothing to stop you from getting out there, sharing 7K with someone new, and collecting an instant gold payment. We're ready. Are you?
So there was a question real quick while we let this thing roll out. Who was our competition? People. We don't have any competition. Nobody can touch what we do in 7K Metals. And again, I'm not saying tomorrow they'll come out. You can't. Our Sound Money sets us apart. Our VaultMax sets us apart. The same people that protect your bank accounts are the same people that protect our vaults. The same people who insure your bank account protect our vaults. So when you start looking at it, our company, like I say, we wash our hands with it. Because most people don't understand who Roger Ball was. Roger Ball, one of the co-founders of our company, is the original owner of a company called Melaleuca that does over $6.5 billion in sales. Roger became that guy. So what he realized is the fact that every time he put his money into a bank account, if that dollar, not if, but when that dollar hit zero, he was going to lose his money. So what did he start doing? He started putting his money into gold and silver like you need to do. But he knew that there was a flaw. And the flaw was most people, as we talked about, didn't have the money to invest in the gold and silver. So he created a way that people can make money and transfer that money into gold and silver. Roger became one of the 12. There's only 12 people in the world that can buy gold and silver from the US, Canadian, Australian mints. Roger's one of them. Roger's the one who put us in the connection with PCGS and NGC, the number one and number two grader. So people, we can't. So the value of a basic membership is about $477, but people tonight, $149. Now, you may say to me, Ron, what do I get? You get the ability to use our Sound Money wallet, that VaultMax. People, you get the ability to be able to buy gold and silver when you want to buy it. That was enough for me, but let's talk about this. We have our basic, which is that for the 149, but we also have what we call our legacy. Our legacy VIP has a whole different program. And our Sound Money wallet, we earn 1% off every time somebody puts their money into that Sound Money wallet, right? The second thing about it is you get all the bells and whistles that we talked about. We talked about that Sound Money wallet. We talked about 7K Advantage. And man, we have so many things that we have that will benefit you. But the thing we look at, the value is about $867. But people, tonight, you can get it for $599. Now, you may look at yourself and say, Ron, $599, that might be a stretch for me. But people, let me tell you something. It's not a stretch when we can help you build. We can help you take your business from one side of this thing to another. The simple thing about it is if somebody came to me today and said, Ron, all I want to do is buy the gold and silver, great. But put it on your credit card. In a week's time, if you were willing to let me help you do it, I can get your money back for you. Because right now we're doubling the points. So think about this. If you just took $100 over the next 3 years and you just kept putting it into your Sound Money wallet, people, in 3 years, you would have $464,639. That's just you putting $100 in. If you put that into your bank account, you have nothing to show for it. You probably have lost money more than made money. So the thing we talk about is our auto savers, and we won't spend a lot of time because the person who invited you is probably going to go over that with you as well. Our 7K Pro, get with a person and help you. So this is what I like about it, because I often tell people, I don't try to pull no punches. I tell people all the time, I never got into a network marketing business just to buy the product. I got in it to make the money, take care of my family, and then use the product. But the product had to make sense. This product makes 100% sense because people, you can't get hurt. There's nobody in this business can get hurt because if I buy a coin, that coin is going to be valued more tomorrow than it is today. Now you show me one network marketing business or business in itself that you can buy a product and tomorrow the product is worth more than what you paid for. That's our business. So what we do is we help you rank up. We help you make money. As my grandmother used to always tell me, that if you've done a thing, you can what? Teach a thing. I helped a lot of people do it. There are people who just come to me and say, Ron, I just want to become an associate. I just want to make up to $500 a week. That's what set our company apart. But what about the person who said, hey, I want to make that extra 1,000 or 2,000 as a copper or a bronze? Hey, Ron, I know a few people, I have some influence. I want to go out here and share this with a lot of people, but think about what you're sharing. Think about what you're sharing. We're not sharing a pill, potion, or lotion. We're telling people that you need to buy gold and silver. And at the end of this call, if you can probably say to yourself, Ron, you're a little bit right. Everybody needs to buy gold and silver. The number one reason is because most people can't have a $400 hiccup. So in this business, let me show you how within a matter of time I can help you hit these levels. So silver, people, we've helped people hit silver within the first 90 days. That means now they're making up to $35,000 to $5,000 a week. People at $14,000 a week, you can live good on 10. Put the other 4,000 in the gold and silver like I do. But I help people do this within the first 90 days. I help people do it within the first month. As a gold associate, people, that's when you now can make up to 7 to 15,000. Executive, it took me 2 years to hit executive goal. Now you can make between 10 to 30,000 a month, and as presidential, which I'll soon hit, 42.5 a month. Nope, a week. People, you can live a fantastic life on 10. Take the other money, put it in the gold and silver. Now, if you're on this call tonight and you said, hey, Ron, listen, I'm willing, I can do it. It makes a lot of sense. People always tell people this is what we call network marketing. But people, when you look at it, if you put this on a credit card, within a week's time, I can help you get your money back. Simple. Just put me on a call with a few people. I talked to some great people today. Donzel, I talked to that guy today. Again, a strong guy said, Brian, I got some influence. I've been looking to buy gold and silver. This is the kind of people that I like to talk to because it makes a lot of sense. All we're doing is sharing great information. At the end of the day, you can't ever come back to me and say, Ron, that don't make a sense. But just by you putting in 4 people, 2 on your left and 2 on your right, people, you paid for your $5.99. But if you said, I want to make $1,000 in my first week, put me on a call with 10 people. I guarantee you 8 to sign up. If you have 8 people to come into your business, based upon the way this is going, that's $1,200 that you made your first week in this business. Now, you may be right and say, hey, I don't need the $1,200, but give it to me. I can use it. I need a new set of golf clubs. But people, this is what made a lot of sense, the power of 4. Because now instead of you getting paid $40 in gold pay, you're getting $80 in gold pay. That's $320 right off the bat. But now out of that same thing, I'm just going to share with 4 other people. Right off the bat, the first week I've got in this business, if I just put 2 on my left and 2 on my right, I made $820. I made my money back. And I got gold and silver. So here it is. Let me finish this thing up and then get with the person who invited you. Ask yourself these questions. Where do you see yourself? People, I'm not mad at anybody for simply saying. Now, when I get questions is when somebody sits there and say, Brian, I don't need gold and silver. Yes, you do. Because again, it's nothing but God's money. It's been here since the beginning of time. So if you just say, Ron, I just want to buy gold and silver, become a customer, great. But what about that person that says, hey, Ron, I'm willing to sacrifice 5 to 10 hours a week to make $3,000 to $5,000 a month? People, I know people today who do the 40-40 plan. They work for 40 hours a week for 40 years, retired at 40% of their pay. And when they retire at the beginning of the month, by the end of the month, they're working at Walmart. They got a second job where they go back to work. You know that old saying about raise your hand if you believe it. Don't do it because I know you know some people who have done it. Retirement is not what retirement is today, people. You retire to go back to working. But what about the person that said, Ron, you know what? I'm ready to run. I want to be a 3. I want to go out here and share this information with some people because it just makes good sense to make that 20 to 30,000 a month. See, as I told people, after my second year in this business, I was making more than $10,000 a week. Now, when people sit there and say Bentleys and planes and all that right now, I don't need that. What I need is peace of mind. What I need is to be able to spend time with my family, raise my grandkids. What I need is to be able to live the remaining of my, as my good friend talked about, 50 years, people, I want a downslope. I want to live my best life. And I want you to live your best life. So here's what I want you to do. We do these presentations every day. I know Sherry and Leonard will be doing a presentation tomorrow. I think I'm just putting my foot in my mouth. I think they're going to do a presentation tomorrow, but then we'll be right back here.
We doing it. We doing it.
All right, Sherry gonna do it tomorrow. And then on Thursday, I think I'll be doing it. On Friday, we'll be doing it again. But people, we're here to help you build your business. Share the information. Listen to what I have to say. If nothing else, what is it gonna hurt? Get with the person who invited you on this call and say, hey, listen, let's make it happen. And if you need to have a one-on-one call, make sure you get with a person, schedule a time, and me and you can talk one-on-one, and I can tell you how far we can go at this thing. So real quick, 5 minutes. If anybody has any questions about this, unmute yourself or raise your hand, and I could probably try to answer any questions that you guys have for, I try to kind of keep this thing to 45 minutes. Anybody have any questions? No? All right. Teresa and Renee. All right. All right. So with that being said, get with a person who invited you on the night, and let's get rocking and rolling. Take care and God bless.
Okay.
Good night. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for another awesome presentation. Thank
Good
you.
night.
All right, y'all. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Mhm.